She's married, she's promoted, she's living your dream. And you're wondering, God, when is it my turn? Here's why your delay is actually your advantage. I know that feeling. That pit in your stomach when you scroll through social media and see another engagement announcement, another promotion celebration, another dream unlocked, and you're sitting there thinking, what's wrong with me? You've been faithful. You've been working. You've been praying. You've been believing, but your timeline doesn't match what you see around you. And baby, it's messing with your head. Let me tell you something right now. Your delay is not your denial. Your wait is not your waste. And that gap between where you are and where they are, that's not punishment. That's preparation. Say, we live in a world that worships speed, instant coffee, instant downloads, instant results. And somewhere along the way, we started believing that if God doesn't move fast, He's not moving at all. But I'm here to tell you that God's timing has never been about your convenience. It's always been about your capacity. You know what I'm talking about. That promotion you wanted 3 years ago, baby, you weren't ready for it 3 years ago. I don't care how qualified you thought you were. I don't care how many certifications you had. There's a difference between being qualified on paper and being prepared in character. And God was doing something in you during that wait that had nothing to do with your resume and everything to do with your resilience. Listen to me carefully. Every delay in your life has been depositing something in you. Patience, wisdom, discernment, strength, the very things you're going to need when that door finally opens. Because here's what nobody tells you about getting what you want. If you get it before you're ready, you won't be able to keep it. I wish I had somebody who told me this when I was younger. I wish somebody had sat me down and said, baby, the reason it's taking longer for you is because what God has for you is bigger than what you're asking for. And big blessings require big preparation. You're not behind. You're being built. There's somebody reading this right now, and you've been comparing your chapter 3 to somebody else's chapter 20. You've been looking at their highlight reel and judging your behind the scenes, and you're convinced that you missed your window, that your time has passed, that maybe God forgot about you. But I hear God saying, I didn't forget you. I've been forming you. Every closed door was protecting you from something that looked right but wasn't ready. Every rejection was redirecting you towards something better that you couldn't see yet. Every no was making room for a yes that's going to blow your mind. Does anybody want to stop feeling behind? Does anybody want to stop measuring their progress by other people's pace? Then you've got to understand this comparison is the assassin of your calling. The moment you start judging your journey by someone else's journey, you lose sight of where God is actually taking you. And baby, where He's taking you is specifically designed for you, not them. You. Their path was never meant to be your path. Their timeline was never meant to be your timeline. And their destination definitely isn't your destination. So why are you trying to race somebody who's running a completely different race? Right, let me break this down for you. When you look at someone else and think they're ahead of you, you're making 3 dangerous assumptions. First, you're assuming you know their whole story. You don't. You see the ring. You don't see the therapy sessions. You see the promotion. You don't see the sacrifice. You see the highlight. You don't see the heartbreak that got them there. Second, you're assuming that their blessing is the same as your blessing. It's not. What God has for them is for them. What God has for you is for you. And trust me, you don't want somebody else's assignment. You want yours. Because yours comes with grace attached to it. Third, you're assuming that timing is the same thing as worthiness. And that's where the enemy gets you. He whispers, if you were good enough, it would have happened by now. If you were worthy enough, you wouldn't still be waiting. If you deserved it, you'd have it. Not anymore. I rebuke that lie right now. Your worthiness was never determined by your timeline. Your value was never measured by your speed. And your purpose has never been delayed. It's been developing. Listen. God is not late. He's meticulous. You think you're behind. No, baby. You're right where you need to be for what's about to happen next. And what's about to happen next requires everything you've been through to get you here. The disappointments, the delays, the detours. They weren't distractions from your destiny. They were developing you for your destiny. Somebody in this space needs to hear this. Your delay has been your training ground. Every month you waited, you got stronger. Every year you endured, you got wiser. Every season you survived, you gained something you couldn't have gotten any other way. And now you're dangerous. Now you're ready. Now you're positioned for something that would have destroyed you if you got it earlier. Oh God. See, when you're going through the wait, all you can see is what you don't have yet. But God sees what you're becoming. He sees the person you're going to be on the other side of this. He sees the leader, the warrior, the breakthrough. And He's not moving you forward until you're fully formed for what's coming. Because baby, what's coming is big. I wish I could show you what God sees when He looks at your life right now. You think He sees lack. He sees potential. You think He sees delay. He sees development. You think He sees you falling behind. He sees you being positioned for something unprecedented. Your timeline is not a mistake. It's a strategy. God is raising up a generation of people who don't look like everybody else, don't move like everybody else, and definitely don't succeed like everybody else. He's raising up the ones who were willing to wait when everyone else rushed, the ones who were willing to be prepared when everyone else just wanted to be picked, the ones who built character in the dark so they could handle the spotlight. You're not behind. You're being distinguished. There's a difference between people who get there fast and people who last when they get there. Fast doesn't mean faithful. Early doesn't mean equipped. And first doesn't mean finished. I've watched people sprint to the front of the line only to collapse under the weight of what they thought they wanted. I've seen people rush into relationships that destroyed them. I've seen people grab promotions they couldn't handle. I've seen dreams come true too early and turn into nightmares. You know why? Because timing isn't just about when you get it. It's about whether you're ready to steward it when you do. And God loves you too much to give you something you're not ready for. So if you're still waiting, that means you're still becoming. If you're still in the process, that means there's still more for God to do in you. And if it hasn't happened yet, that means when it does, you're going to be so ready that nothing will be able to shake what God is about to build through you. Are you hearing me? Your delay is not your disqualification. It's your distinction. While everyone else was rushing to the finish line, you were being refined for endurance. While everyone else was chasing shortcuts, you were building a foundation. While everyone else was celebrating their arrivals, you were being prepared for a completely different altitude. And baby, where God is about to take you requires a completely different kind of strength. Listen carefully. You're not in competition with anybody. You're in collaboration with destiny. And destiny doesn't move on anybody's schedule but God's. So stop checking your watch and start trusting the watchmaker. I'm coming for the person who's been crying in secret, thinking they've been left behind, the one who's been questioning God, asking why everyone else is moving forward while you're stuck, the one who's been losing hope, wondering if your time will ever come. Cease. I need you to hear this. Your time is coming. And it's going to be so worth the wait that you're going to look back on this season and thank God for every delay. Because what's coming couldn't have come any earlier. What's coming required this wait. What's coming is so connected to this season of preparation that if you had skipped it, You would have missed the very thing that's about to make you. God doesn't waste time. He redeems it. Every moment you thought was lost was actually invested. Every season you thought was wasted was actually working. Every year you thought was behind schedule was actually building your capacity for what's ahead. You're not behind. You're about to break through. And when you do, everyone who counted you out is going to see exactly why you had to wait. They're going to see the strength you built in the waiting room. They're going to see the wisdom you gained in the wilderness. They're going to see the character you developed in the crucible. And they're going to understand that you weren't delayed. You were being prepared for something they can't even imagine yet. Right. Say, your timeline doesn't look like everyone else's because your assignment doesn't look like everyone else's. Your path is different because your purpose is distinct. Your journey is unique because your calling is uncommon. And baby, uncommon callings require uncommon preparation. Let me tell you what happens in the delay that you can't see. In the delay, God is rearranging things in the spiritual realm. He's moving obstacles. He's aligning connections. He's orchestrating circumstances. He's preparing people. He's opening doors. He's closing traps. He's setting up divine appointments. He's positioning you for encounters that are going to change your entire trajectory. And you can't see any of it because you're focused on what hasn't happened yet instead of what's happening right now. But I need you to know this. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not working. Just because you can't feel it doesn't mean it's not moving. Just because you can't trace it doesn't mean it's not coming together. God is working behind the scenes of your life right now. And everything He's doing is setting you up for something spectacular. You know what your delay is doing. It's eliminating everyone and everything that was never meant to go with you into your next season. It's exposing the relationships that can't handle your growth. It's revealing the mindsets that can't support your elevation. It's removing the distractions that would have derailed your focus. Your delay is doing you a favor. It's protecting you. It's purifying you. It's positioning you. And when your moment finally comes, you're going to be so grateful for everyone and everything that didn't make it into this next chapter with you. Because where you're going requires a different circle, a different mindset, a different level of faith, and a different version of you. The old you couldn't handle what's coming. The unprepared you would have fumbled what's coming. The unhealed you would have sabotaged what's coming. But the you that's been refined in the waiting, baby, you're about to handle business. Does anybody feel that? I'm talking to the person who's been wondering if they wasted their 20s, their 30s, their 40s waiting for something to happen. You didn't waste anything. You were being seasoned. Every year added flavor to your story. Every experience added depth to your wisdom. Every trial added strength to your testimony. And now you're about to walk into rooms and spaces where people half your age are going to need what you learned in the wait. They're going to need your perspective. They're going to need your wisdom. They're going to need your resilience. They're going to need proof that the wait is worth it. And baby, you're about to be that proof. You're about to be the evidence that God doesn't forget. You're about to be the testimony that delays aren't denials. You're about to be the walking billboard that says, if you hold on, if you stay faithful, if you keep believing, your time will come. Let me tell you something else about your advantage. While you were waiting, you were watching. You saw what worked. You saw what didn't. You saw who lasted. You saw who quit. You saw the mistakes others made. You saw the shortcuts that led nowhere. You saw the quick rises and the even quicker falls. And you learned, you learned that fast isn't always better. You learned that popular isn't always profitable. You learned that visible isn't always valuable. You learned that being chosen by people is nothing compared to being chosen by God. And those lessons are about to save you from years of detours. Those lessons are about to protect you from traps that took others out. Those lessons are about to fast-track you in ways that have nothing to do with speed and everything to do with strategy. So stop apologizing for your pace. Stop feeling ashamed of your process. Stop comparing your unfinished story to someone else's edited highlights. You're exactly where you need to be. And where you are right now is setting you up for where you're going next. There's something powerful about the person who's been through the fire and came out refined. There's something different about the person who's been through the wilderness and came out with direction. There's something undeniable about the person who's been through the wait and came out with wisdom. That's you. That's who you are. That's what you've become. You're not the same person who started this journey. You're stronger. You're smarter. You're sharper. You're more focused. You're more faithful. You're more grounded. And baby, you're more ready than you've ever been. I hear God saying, I've been building you for this. Every closed door was building your faith. Every disappointment was building your discernment. Every delay was building your discipline. Every no was building your tenacity. Every wait was building your character. And now you're built. Now you're ready. Now you're positioned. Somebody needs to stop looking at what you lost in the wait and start looking at what you gained. You lost impatience. You gained peace. You lost entitlement. You gained gratitude. You lost anxiety. You gained trust. You lost comparison. You gained confidence in your own journey. You didn't lose time. You gained treasure. And that treasure is about to pay dividends in your next season that you can't even calculate right now. Oh God, I feel this in my spirit. The enemy wanted you to think that the wait was punishment, but God was using the wait as preparation. The enemy wanted you to think you were being held back, but God was holding you close, teaching you, shaping you, molding you for something greater. And now the wait is about to make sense. Now the delay is about to pay off. Now the process is about to produce exactly what it was designed to produce, a version of you that's unstoppable, unshakable, and undeniable. I'm done letting the enemy convince God's people that they're behind. I'm done watching precious souls believe the lie that slow means stuck. I'm done seeing warriors quit right before their breakthrough because they think God forgot about them. Not on my watch. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not falling behind. You are being formed. You are being fashioned. You are being prepared for a future so bright that you needed this time in the dark to develop the strength to handle the light. Listen. There's a reason why diamonds are formed under pressure. There's a reason why gold is refined in fire. There's a reason why warriors are trained in boot camp before they're sent to the battlefield. Because the process determines whether you survive what you're about to step into. And baby, God has been putting you through a process that's been specifically designed for what's specifically coming your way. Your delay wasn't random. It was intentional. Your wait wasn't accidental. It was purposeful. Your timeline wasn't a mistake. It was a masterpiece being painted by the master's hand. And every stroke, every color, every detail, every shade, every layer has been necessary to create the complete picture of who you're becoming and what you're about to walk into. You know what I love about God's timing? It's never early and it's never late. It's always exactly when you need it to be. Not when you want it to be. Not when it's convenient. Not when it makes sense to everyone else. But when it perfectly aligns with His plan for your life. And His plan is so much bigger than your plan. His vision is so much clearer than your vision. His purpose is so much deeper than your understanding. So stop trying to rush what God is orchestrating. Stop trying to force what God is positioning. Stop trying to manipulate what God is manifesting. Just trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust the one who holds your future. Somebody say, I trust you. God, your delay is your advantage. While others were sprinting, you were learning endurance. While others were celebrating, You were building character. While others were advancing on the surface, you were going deep in the foundation. And now, when your moment comes, you're going to be so rooted, so grounded, so unshakable that nothing will be able to move you. Baby, you're going to stand when others fall. You're going to last when others quit. You're going to thrive when others barely survive. Because you didn't just want it, you waited for it. You didn't just pray for it, you were prepared for it. You didn't just dream about it, you were developed for it. And that changes everything. Listen to me, the next 5 years of your life are about to look nothing like the last 5 years. The season you're entering is going to require everything you learned in the season you're leaving. And the version of you that's about to emerge is going to make so much sense out of everything that didn't make sense before. You're going to look back and say, oh, that's why I had to wait. That's why the door closed. That's why it didn't work out. That's why I went through that. Because if I hadn't, I wouldn't be ready for this. Somebody shout right now, I'm ready. You've been in the waiting room long enough. You've been in the preparation phase long enough. You've been building in obscurity long enough. And now, God is about to shift you from the back to the front, from the hidden to the highlighted, from the process to the promise. And when He does, you're going to realize that every single day of waiting was worth it. Every single tear you cried was watering something. Every single time you wanted to quit but didn't, you were building the resilience you're about to need. Because baby, what God is about to do with your life is going to require every ounce of everything you developed while you were waiting. So lift your head, square your shoulders, wipe your tears, and get ready. You're not behind. You never were. You were being positioned. You were being prepared. You were being perfected for such a time as this. And your time is now. Not because you rushed it. Not because you forced it, not because you compared yourself into it, but because you trusted God through the wait. You stayed faithful in the delay. You kept believing when nothing made sense. And now, everything is about to align. We're going to walk into our destiny with confidence. We're going to step into our purpose with clarity. We're going to embrace our calling with courage, not because we're the fastest, but because we're the most faithful, not because we got there first, but because we're going to last. God is not done with you. He's not finished with your story. He's not through with your journey. The best chapters are still unwritten. The greatest victories are still unclaimed. The most powerful moments are still ahead. And everything you've been through has been preparing you for everything you're about to walk into. So stop looking at where everyone else is. Keep your eyes on where you're going. Stop measuring your progress by their pace. Trust your own process. Stop doubting your timeline. Start believing in your purpose. You are exactly where you need to be. And baby, where you are is about to become the launching pad for where God is taking you next. Your delay was your advantage. Your wait was your weapon. Your process was your power. And now it's your time to rise. Now it's your time to shine. Now it's your time to step into everything God has been preparing you for. You're not behind. You're right on time. God's time, perfect time, divine time. And that, my friend, changes absolutely everything.